The green and gold are in charge. On the Woodward Radio Network, in the Huddle is brought to you by Old Lake Casino. Defensive lineman DJ Blair.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the fifth quarter in Village Street. We're having along after the Packers knocked off the Jets 9-0. Sounds like a bad baseball score, doesn't it?
Awesome defense.
That was really, I don't think there's too many people that were giving the Packers a chance to win the football game, let alone for the defense, which has so many different combinations out there now, and so many players that have asked to step in and play and perform well at a high level. It really was a remarkable win. It had to be pretty energizing for you guys.
Oh, absolutely. Going in the game, we knew it was going to be a fist fight. We have two of the top defenses in the NFL, us and the Jets, and our defense, I think that was our first shutout in I don't know how long, but they played a phenomenal game yesterday. Three takeaways and really set our offense up to do some good things. But it was great beating a team that was, I think whether 6-1 yesterday, and we went in there and got the win at their house. So it was a great feeling. We're definitely on the right road.
Yeah, the offense, they didn't have the production that they'd like, but on the good side, only 3 penalties after only 2 the week before, and no turnovers. And when you win that, when those columns, those two columns say what they said yesterday, you're going to have a chance to win the game whether your offense is overly productive or not.
Absolutely. That was our biggest positive we took out the game offensively yesterday is we took care of the football. We didn't have any turnovers, so that kept us in a position to score points and win the game.
14% on third downs. Kind of 3 weeks ago you were not good. Last week you were good, and now back to it again. But I thought an interesting point. Joe Philbin, the offensive coordinator, after the game said, he said, we don't like that number, obviously. He said, but the good thing is we didn't do anything dumb. He said the 0 penalties, the 0 turnovers show that Rodgers didn't get impatient. He didn't get frustrated. Didn't start throwing the ball up for grabs. Kind of just did what we did, and we were careful about it, and went out and won the football game.
Yeah, third down's kind of been on us the last few weeks. We've kind of been struggling. Our percentage has been pretty low, and that's the thing we work on week in, week out, and we're not there yet. We've got to start converting more third downs if we're going to score more points. But that's something we're working on, and like you said, we took a positive of not giving the ball away yesterday, and that was the biggest positive we took out of our game offensively.
Yeah, first no turnover game of the season. That's always something. You thrive for it. You shoot for that, but it's hard to do, isn't it?
It's very hard to do. With the talent that the defenses have. Every week our top goal when we throw up our goals for the week is take care of the football, because I think that's the number one statistic in the NFL. It's whoever has the most giveaways is they're pretty likely to lose the game, and that's something we take great pride in. We spend a lot of time during practice every day holding on to the football and doing different drills to have good ball security, and yesterday was was a great demonstration of that.
It looks like they didn't pressure you as much as you thought they were going to. Is that right?
Yeah, I think they blitzed. I think they only blitzed, I want to say 3 or 4 times in the first half, and I'm not sure how many times in the second half. But we were definitely prepared for more pressure than what they brought.
A couple of new players getting snaps, including Howard Green, who played with the Jets and was released. He played a lot yesterday and played very well.
Yeah, he's a big guy. You could tell just by looking at him. He's a big, powerful guy, and I'm sure he's been at the Jets for a while, and just going against those guys, you kind of pick up on their tendencies. But I thought he was a great addition to our defense yesterday.
When you say somebody's a big guy, he's a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big fella.
and rumor has it that he was upwards of around 365, 370. That's the reason why the Jets cut him. That they had given him ample warnings about his weight, and he never got below a certain level, so they let him go. And I'll tell you one thing: he's 360 right now, and he plays like that against like he did against his old football team. I think the Packers will take 360.
No, absolutely. He still moves good for being a big guy. Yeah. That was clear yesterday. He was gotten backfield a few times, and he's a powerful guy. So as long as he keeps making plays like that, I'm sure that they probably won't have a problem with where his light's at.
Shutting out an opponent on the road for the first time since 1991 is not only the shutout, it's doing it on the road, doing it at a place like the New Meadowlands against a good football team like the Jets.
Very impressive. Our defense has been carrying our team all year, and they've been doing a fantastic job. Even with injuries, we've had young guys step up and go out there and make plays, and it's been huge. That's the reason why we're 5-3. Our defense has been holding us in games.
Charles Woodson yesterday after the game said he was upset about the fact that people were even considering them underdogs, and he said he couldn't. And he was asked the question, well, did you use that to work in your favor because you were being called an underdog? He said, I couldn't use that in my favor. He said, because I don't consider myself an underdog. He said, this team is not underdogs. We're a good football team. Right. Is that the thinking of the rest of the guys?
Oh, yeah. We know what kind of football team we have. And, the Jets, they're a cocky group over there. I mean, they like to talk a lot, and they start with their head coach, Rex Ryan. And they carry a lot of swagger, a lot of confidence. So I think a lot of the media people jumped on their bandwagon just, by the way they were talking in the preseason. And we never really look at that stuff saying, hey, we're underdogs this week. We know what kind of football team we have, and that's all that matters. If you're good, you don't need to tell anybody else you're good. You just go out there and you play good football, and that's what we do.
So much. Rex Ryan has so much swagger that he's got the guts to call 4th and 18 a punt fake in his own territory. That is swagger right there.
That's actually a funny story.
And stupidity.
Well, I was watching TV, and actually I was talking to Tim, and our punter, and I think that punter called that play on his own. I mean, I think they give him flexibility where if he sees an opening, he can take it, and he did it yesterday on 4th and 18, and it came damn close to picking it up, and we were lucky to stop him and get him good field possession, but that was a gutsy call no matter who called it, the head coach or the punter. That was a gutsy call.
Who was the player that made the tackle?
I think it was Anthony Smith. Yeah, he's been playing great special teams for us since we picked him up last week, and he's been a guy that he was here before, and he knows what to do. He's a good, true professional, and he's been getting the job done for him.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He sold out. He dove, used his body, and got 1 foot out of bounds. And that would have been a big play for the Jets, but absolutely turned out to be a big play for the Green Bay Packers. They got 3 out of it, and turned out to be the only 3 they would need to win the football game. Don't forget our email contest coming up a little bit later on in thehuddleshow.com. You can email your questions, have a chance to win a ski package valued at more than $400. Back with more after this on the Woodward Radio Network. Our program brought to you each and every Monday night by Mole Lake Casino Resort and Conference Center. Back with TJ Lang, and our guest on the show this evening, his first season with the Packers, he's the punter, Tim Masthay. Tim, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Glad to have you here. Let's real quickly go back and talk about that fake by the Jets. So you actually talked to the guy, and it's pretty clear that was not even a called fake, that he just did that on his own.
Yeah, Mason and I were talking to him before the game, and he clarified to us that, he's a good athlete, and he said he'd run 7 fakes in his career, and that none of them were called by the coach, and that he's just kind of given a little bit of leeway there. But yesterday it was 4th and 18, and he was pretty gutsy trying, and luckily we stopped him a couple yards short.
Now I got to ask you, what would happen if you did that? What would McCarthy do?
Yeah, you would not see me tucking and running it without it being called, especially on 4th and 18.
That was a gutsy call right there, no question. 18 yards too. I know that you get those guys, the defensive backs. The cover guys are going down the field, so the other guys, they got their heads turned, they're running backwards. So many times you get everybody looking the other way, and that's the way. But 18 yards is a lot to pick up.
Well, and that's the thing, and their punter's been very successful with running fakes like that, but when it's 18 yards, it's tough to do, and he picked up 16 or 17, but Anthony Smith caught him over down the sideline.
Yeah, you got pretty good wheels?
I can run okay, but like I said, I wouldn't be tucking and running. If I tucked and run and I got tackled short of the first down, I'd probably just run into the locker room and
Keep running for the tunnel.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, 8 punts, 44-yard gross average, 41.5-yard net, 5 punts inside the Jets 20 with only 1 touchback. And that was first 3 punts, right when the Packers needed field position, you gave it to them. 55, 48, and 51-yard punts, all with hang times of more than 4.72 seconds. That was the least of the hang times, which is pretty darn good. And the head coach today said it was the finest punting performance he has ever seen in his entire career, and he admitted to shedding a tear, and he was serious about it, wasn't he? He said, I shed a tear when I thought about it.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm pretty humbled to hear that stuff. I mean, he told me he's proud of me today, and you know, that means the world to me. To be able to line up with the guys on the team and the coaches and to perform well, and especially in a game like that where it was a field position defensive battle, to be able to come through was special.
Yeah. Next time you tell them, you say, hey, I appreciate the sentiments, but don't ever admit that you're shedding a tear. This is the National Football League.
Yeah.
You know, take your skirt off, for God's sake. You know, just tell them that.
Yeah, that's another thing I don't think you'll find me doing.
All right, you also had 3 punts in which you used the drop kick or the rugby style, and is that a common thing in the NFL, or is that just something you do?
Yeah, no, it's becoming more and more a common thing. I mean, most of the punters in the league use it for those, you know, when you're in short field position, you know, past the 50 or past the 45, the opponent's 45. And yesterday I actually pulled it out a couple of times from deeper than usual because I was hitting it really well. So yeah, it wound up being a good tool for me yesterday.
And you're looking at hang times without returns, you know, that kind of thing. That's pretty much the benefit there?
Yeah, I mean, the benefit is you can control it better going in so that you're not going to hit as many touchbacks. And then, like I said yesterday, I was hitting it well for distance too. So that last punt of the game, we knew, hey, we really need a solid punt that's going to have no return or minimal return. You know, we'll net a solid kick, and so I pulled it out, used it, and it worked out.
Yeah. So you know, the first 6 weeks or so, you've kind of been up and down. You've had really good punts, and then you've had some stinkers. And now yesterday, you just have a great day. I mean, that had to feel, you know, a little bit of weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, it felt good. I've been kind of frustrated lately because I've been practicing well for really most of the season, but especially through the first 4 weeks, and then the game against Miami was inconsistent through there. So I've been frustrated by that, and so now to have had 2 games in a row where I hit the ball very consistently, and really 3 out of the last 4, Coach talks about stacking successes, so I'm just going to try and keep doing that and use it as confidence going forward.
You know, the great thing when you punt 8 times and you don't allow the other guy to return 1, to me, that's the remarkable thing about all of that. I mean, your hang times are good, your distance are good, but when you don't let the other guy gain a yard out of you, out of 8 punts, that's pretty darn good.
Right, it worked out well for us, and that goes to our coverage too and protection. You know, those guys are doing a great job, and they play just as big a role in that.
Yeah, all right, everybody, let's go. Come on. There we go. They wanted to let it out, but they didn't think like special teams coach Sean Slocum, you know, when things aren't going well for a punter, there's not a lot of special teams coaches that necessarily have the so-called expertise as a punting instructor. So how do you handle those moments, you know, with your coach?
You know, we work on fundamentals a lot, and Sean has knowledge.
He probably has more than some coaches.
I definitely think, I know that that's true.
Yeah.
So we definitely talk about fundamentals and different mental things that go into it. So yeah, it's great to have a tool like him, and then also be able to work with Mason and Brett on a daily basis. Yeah, so we just work hard every day and try to get it right on Sundays.
Yeah, you had that battle with Chris Bryan back in training camp. How good was that battle, you think?
You know, that was good for both of us, I think. I mean, really, we competed. We both got here in March and competed all the way up until September. And we just kind of pushed each other. You know, when you're in a competition, you're fighting for it every single day. And yeah, so I think it pushed both of us and helped me out, yeah.
Did you guys room together in training camp?
No, they did not put us together in training camp.
Afraid of what might happen?
Well, you know, Chris and I are good friends, but there could have been tension. I don't know.
Okay. I get to see some of the pranks.
It was like that story, college football a couple of years ago. I think it was a kicker battle somewhere, and one of the kickers ended up
stabbed. Yeah.
So he could try to win the job.
No, Chris and I are friends, so that wouldn't happen. But yeah, maybe smart to avoid things like that.
And of course, he was from Australia and had the great accent. Anybody mocking his Australian accent in the locker room? Or?
I don't know if guys mocked him, but yeah, he was known for that. And he was a great guy, though. A lot of fun to be around. Everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was pretty good competition. The last really outstanding punter they've had here. They've had a couple in between that have been okay, but the last really good one. Remember the guy by the name of Craig Hendrick?
Sure, I know Craig.
You know Craig Hendrick, all right? So he was the guy that they let go because Ron Wolf was the last general manager. In his infinite wisdom, decided that he did not want to make Craig Hendrick the first $1 million punter. So he let him go, and Hendrick went on to have a great Pro Bowl career the rest of the way. And there's been a lot of names now since then. Sean Landetta, Louis Aguiar, Josh Bidwell, Brian Barker, B.J. Sander, he was a third-round pick on him, John Ryan, Derek Frost, and Jeremy Kapanos in a 13-year span. That's a lot of punters. I'm betting that you'd like to settle in for a little bit longer than that.
Yeah, well, I mean, sure, I'd love it if the revolving door stopped for a little while. But I don't really look at all that. I mean, I just look at each practice, each game, and just try to improve. And really, having that sort of mindset is the only way it'll be possible for me to stick around for a long time.
Punting to Devin Hester. You ever going to throw one his way again?
You know what? That was really a growing experience for me because, I mean, I knew he was a great punt returner going into the game. It's not like I go into the game not knowing who Devin Hester is.
Yeah.
But just realizing, and with some of the NFL rules about getting off the line of scrimmage, I mean, I hit some great punts to him, and especially the last one, and he brought it right back. Yeah, so next time I play him in January, I'll probably be trying to put the ball out of bounds.
Yeah. Get back to that rugby style.
Yeah, right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Masthay. Had a great day yesterday. All right, don't forget to email your question of the week to us in the huddleshow.com, and we'll reward one email participant with a 2-night stay and lift tickets for 2 days to Granite Peak in Wausau. Back with more after this on the Woodward Radio Network.
Now back to In the Huddle with Phil Scott and Green Bay offensive lineman TJ Lang.
And back with you at the 5th quarter in Little Chute. Good to have you along tonight. Transportation provided by L&S Classic Limousine Service. Personal professional service for all occasions. Call 1-800-830-5933 for your reservation. Lenny is here again tonight. Lenny, where you at, man? There you go. Lenny's got his Indiana Jones hat tonight and looking pretty sharp.
He needs some sunglasses too. He's got a glare in his eye on the way down here on the breakfast in the highway.
All right, we're back with TJ Lang and punter Tim Masthay, who had a great day yesterday. So great that Mike McCarthy shed a tear. So, you know what? The coach was in was apparently in such a jovial mood. The 9-0 victory that you guys see him today? Was he in a meeting with you at all? Or?
Yeah, we got a team meeting.
In a pretty good mood?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Anytime you get a shutout win like that, I mean, obviously we could have played better on offense, but overall it's a great win for our football team. And you know, he came in and said that, and you know, we're happy with the victory.
Yeah. Say, Coach, you know, I know we got the bye week next week. Why don't you give us a couple of days off this week because we only have the Cowboys on Sunday. Just tell them that.
I'll give that one to Tim.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
No, 7 days at a time. 7 days. That's the way we take them around here. All right. So do the boys trick or treat on Revis Island?
I don't know if Greg has. a few nice catches yesterday for 80, 90 yards. But yeah,
They were having fun with that last week.
yeah, they were. Yeah, those are our receivers like to have fun. They're a great group of guys, man. They're all fun and joke around.
I don't think I've ever seen Greg Jennings without a smile on his face.
Oh yeah, Greg's a great guy. Man. I mean, Donald, all those guys were awesome to be around.
Did you dress up?
I did not dress up.
I heard Cullen Jenkins dressed up.
Costume. Tom T. Oh, it's awesome.
He had, I was wondering about I saw him with his helmet off on the sidelines, and he had the big mohawk going. So I'm thinking, then I'm reading the paper the next day that he had the Mr. T starter kit.
Yeah, he had about 80 gold chains on and cut off vest. And he was looking awesome.
They said he had so much bling on that the average man would have had to sulk, or would have had to lean over because he wouldn't be able to carry it all.
Yeah, he pulled it off. I mean, he pulled it off. He was solid Mr. T.
Yeah, I heard a couple of people say that he's really kind of the one cut-up guy in the locker room, that he keeps some guys loose, at least on the defensive side of the ball. I'd imagine you get guys like that, you kind of appreciate that.
Yeah, Colin's an awesome guy. I mean, he's a guy that he goes out there and gets the job done. He has fun doing it. I don't know if there's another guy on the roster that has as much fun as he does. I mean, you could tell by his celebration dances when he gets a sack, or it's a big tackle. I mean, he's just a great guy to be around. And lightens up the mood. I mean, if everybody's serious, Colin's gonna be the first one to pull a joke out and lighten the mood up. And he's a great guy to be around. It's
also good to have a trendsetter, because you kind of have that one guy on the team that lets you know how far you can go to see what you can get away with. So
Colin can get away with just about anything. I think if anybody else dressed up for the airplane ride, I don't know how it would have been, but he pulled it off.
All right, looking back, your thoughts on Rex Ryan. It wasn't just things that happened during the game, but throughout the course of the week. And just the guy, I talked to a number of players who thought that they actually thought his style was refreshing, that the NFL needs more Rex Ryan. Would you agree with that?
I had a chance to meet Rex when I took a trip out to New York, and I know a few guys that play for them, and everybody loves him. I mean, he's a good coach. He knows what he's talking about. The players love him. Like Tim said earlier, he gives a lot of flexibility to all the players that just go out there, have fun, and play the game. And he likes his team to have a lot of confidence, and he's the ringleader. He likes to talk, and they do have a very, very talented football team. So I've never heard a bad word about the guy coaching-wise. I know everybody that plays for him loves him.
Mm-hmm. Tim, you grew up there. You played college football in Kentucky. Where'd you grow up?
Mostly in Kentucky. I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, then lived in Des Moines, Iowa. But at the age of 9, Kentucky since then.
Okay, you were pretty much a jack of all trades, good all-around athlete, a baseball player, a basketball player, football. Were you always a punter, and is that something you always aspired to do? Or?
No, it's really not. I didn't start playing football until I was a junior in high school. Played soccer, baseball, and basketball most of my life.
Soccer fan.
Did you hear that? TJ's a big soccer fan.
All right.
No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, but started kicking and punting my junior year, and then played a little wide receiver. But really, I got no interest from colleges for punting, or I should say no, but not much. It was mostly for kicking, except for the University of Kentucky. They wanted me as a punter. And I was kind of confused because I was a pretty average high school punter, I thought. But they saw potential in me and went there, and I wound up starting all 4 years for UK. Finished my career well, and then a year or 2 years later.
Yeah, and you kicked there too, right?
I kicked off. Didn't kick field goals, but I kicked off.
Yeah, it's nice to have that extra thing that you can do, because you did in the preseason here. They wanted to get a look at you for that. I mean, they know if something happens to Crosby, and he may kick field goals still, but if they had to worry about something, maybe a slight injury, they know you could walk out there and kick off.
Sure, and it's something I enjoy doing. But yeah, I remember Ted Thompson saying in a press conference, I mean, the more you can do, the more valuable you are, the better it is. So it's definitely good to have that skill.
You don't seem like sometimes punters and kickers are kind of their own kind of people. You know what I mean?
I hear people say this. I don't know.
Well, you don't strike me as one of those guys, I guess. So I would understand you saying that.
I think I think that's mostly just a stereotype. I think all of us are pretty just normal people.
Yeah. I mean, when I used to go, when I used to first start covering the Packers, Chris Jackie was the kicker. they would literally go in the Hudson Center and they would take naps. You know, they'd go in and they'd hide in those.
Maybe it's not a stereotype.
There would be a big pile of those tackling dummies, and they'd be all stuck in the corner, and he'd go crawl underneath them and take a nap for a while. Nobody knew where he was. Nobody cared. As long as he put the ball through the uprights on Sunday, that's all he cared about.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. And I don't know Chris Jackie. I can't speak for him, but we don't take naps.
Do you have a favorite? I mean, do you have hunting friends around the league, guys you kind of keep in touch with?
I know a couple guys. I'm buddies with Pat McAfee at Indianapolis and Thomas Morse.
He got in a little trouble, didn't he?
Pat, I guess, got caught up a little bit in something, but I'm sure he'll bounce back fine. Hope he does. And then Thomas Morse at New Orleans. I guess those are the two guys I know the best. And that's been one of the most fun things, is just kind of meeting a bunch of guys around the league.
Yeah. Do you do things? Do you do hunting instructors, that type of thing during the off season?
I've done a little bit of it, but I mean, right before training camp, I went with the Saints punter. He and I punted together down in oh gosh,
Tulane?
No, a small school around Milwaukee.
Whitewater?
Not Whitewater, Division III school. I can't.
Concordia? Is there a Concordia?
Carroll. Someone said Carroll. That's what it was. Yeah, Carroll College. We went down there and punted. So anytime I can get together with other guys in the league, and a guy named Jamie Cole, who's an instructor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anybody that you kind of grew up watching as a punter that you really liked?
Well, I didn't. Punting and kicking wasn't a thing for me growing up. Yeah. So I really didn't watch anybody growing up, and I didn't start playing until I was a junior in high school. So.
All right, if I was to quiz you, this is quiz time, TJ. All right. Okay. Who wears number 93 for the Packers?
Howard Green?
No.
Howard Green.
Eric Walden. 95. Eric Walden. There you go. Who wears number 94?
Jerry Swing.
There you go. All right, so you're getting.
I know my teammates.
You know your teammates.
I'm glad you asked him and not me.
Well, if you didn't get it right, you were next. So it's been pretty rapid fire around there, though, hasn't it? As far as players coming in.
Yeah, it has. Well, with the rash of injuries we've been having, we got to go out and pick up other players, and everybody who's picked up has been contributing. So those guys are trying to take a role, especially on special teams. They get a chance to go out there and make some plays, and those guys are doing a good job for us.
All right, stay tuned. The Granite Peak Ski Area email question of the week coming up. Your chance to win a ski package from Granite Peak. Worth more than $400. We're back with more in the Huddle on the fifth quarter after this on the Woodward Radio Network. And we're back here in the fifth quarter. And little sugar to have you along in the Huddle to be heard on some of these great radio stations around Wisconsin. In Baraboo on WRPQ, in Eau Claire on WBIZ, La Crosse WFBZ, WTSO down in Madison, WMAM in Marinette, WDLB in Marshfield, WOCO in Oconto, and WJJQ up in Tomahawk. Time now for the Granite Peak email segment, and it is time now for me to turn the page and read my script.
Get organized.
Yeah. Granite Peak Ski Area in Wausau, the tallest and largest ski area in Wisconsin with 700 vertical feet and 74 runs. Granite Peak offers terrain for all levels of skiers, along with 6 terrain parks and tree skiing blades. Right now, you can save big money on season passes and multiple day lift tickets by visiting skigranitepeak.com. And time now for our email segment. Justin Hull. How are you doing tonight, Justin?
Doing well. We've got a bunch in the box, so we'll try to see how many of these we can get to tonight. We'll start first from Craig and Reedsburg. It's for you, Tim. How does the wind or weather prediction affect how you prepare for the game each week?
I don't know if the prediction changes it too much. I guess we know we have some idea going in. The biggest thing, though, is that in pregame warm-ups, we get a feel for what's happening. Because regardless of what a prediction is, one, you don't know that's exactly what it's going to be, but two, inside stadiums, wind and stuff bounces around a lot differently than if you're just walking around in the street. So the biggest thing is just getting used to it in warm-ups and then kind of game planning from there.
Is there any weather that changes what you do? Like in rain, do you do something differently? Try to kick it higher, try to kick it more at an angle, make a move more or anything?
Well, rain's not, I don't know if rain necessarily would change too many things. Wind always does, though. I mean, if the wind's blowing one direction, usually you're going to try and punt that way or kick that way if possible. If the wind's blowing in your face, you're going to change your drop a little bit. If you're punting or kicking, you're probably going to change the angle a little bit. You're going to have to drive it a little more. So little subtle things like that, yeah.
All right, we'll get to our next question here. It's an interesting one coming from Lynn in Appleton. She points to an article she read in the Appleton Post-Crescent talking about your favorite reality TV show is The Girls Next Door. And you also said that you're taking notes because you're going to take over the Playboy Mansion for Hugh Hefner.
That must be for TJ. Is this for TJ? Because I don't know that.
All right. TJ, how are those plans working for you?
Oh man! You know what? I gotta be honest with you, TJ. I just don't see you taking over the Playboy Mansion. I don't think it's gonna work for you.
I'm happy this question got turned in.
You know who's going to bring the beef this week. Man, that's funny. I don't know. I honestly don't watch that much reality TV, and the guy asked me in the locker room, and I kind of gave him a little wicked answer. A huge story about the whole thing,
So that's it? That's the answer right there?
that's my answer. Yeah.
All right, while TJ tries to de-red the face of this, we'll get to a question for you, Tim. This one coming from Christy in Reedsburg, talking about how Mike McCarthy was talking about you at his press conference, mentioned you're young and experienced and in the league, but he sees you getting better and better. How do you see yourself improving as you get more experience from the game?
I mean, I just try to work hard each day and improve on my fundamentals. I mean, like I was talking about, like getting the experience in Chicago, against and different returners, different stadiums all over the place, and what our coaches are looking for. I mean, just getting more experience really is the main thing, and just trying to improve and trying to keep doing that through each week.
Well, what are some of the points that, as a punter, you're graded on? Because each week we hear about grading out on the tape. What are some of the points of emphasis for you?
I mean, for me, it's how fast to get the ball off, it's direction of the punt, it's distance of the punt, it's hang time of the punt, it's situation of the game. Those are the main things that I can think of. Yeah.
All those long punts, by the way, you were asked a directional kick too. They didn't just let you go out there and uncork it as long as you.
Right. We do pretty much everything directionally. So for the most part, so those were, they were all directional punts. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we'll get to our next question from Vicky in Appleton. She wants to know if the defense did anything special this week because the level of play was absolutely phenomenal. Do you guys notice a difference from the defense, or was just the result different?
Well, I know they brought you in on a play again, so that was something special.
And it was and I got to admit it, the commentators were better than Chris Collins.
Okay, I didn't watch the game, so I got a chance to show Chris up again this week in Dallas. But no, I think our defense, man, they just, the 3 takeaways they had were huge. The 2 interceptions were, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen two interceptions like that in a game before. I mean, they just ripped it away from the receivers, and that's just guys going out there competing and wanting it more than they did. And we had a lot of guys come up and step up. I mean, C.J. Wilson's he's been playing phenomenal the past 2 weeks in place of Ryan Pickett and other guys on defense. Desmond Bishop's been playing, he's been playing great football too. So guys are stepping up and making plays, and defense, they're starting to click. They got that chemistry going right now, and it seems like they're definitely carrying our team right now, and that's just how it's been the whole season, and that's how it's going to go. So those guys have been doing a great job.
You're back to normal color, TJ, so.
Thank you.
All right, well, that'll do it for that segment, and we'll come back and we'll let you know who the winner is.
I can guess who the winner is.
That's our Granite Geeks email segment. We'll draw our winner of the ski pack valued at $200 when we come back. In the huddle from the fifth quarter, another should continues after this on the Woodward Radio Network. And we're back here at the fifth quarter in Little Shit, our final segment along with TJ and Tim Masthay, our guests on the program tonight. And time now to pick our winner, Justin Hull, back out to the crowd for our Granite Peak Ski Area email segment winner.
I want to see if TJ can repeat the question that was asked for the winner.
I'm sure everybody heard it.
All right. Well, TJ decided we'll go with Lynn this week with the question about TJ's aspirations to take over the Playboy Mansion.
I think that's a pretty good goal to have.
You couldn't have a worse goal. Yeah, let's put it like that.
Surrounded by beautiful women every day. He's making a lot of money too. So it'd be pretty good to do that in football. He doesn't have much time left, so I'm getting ready for it.
Is there a job posting or anything? Or?
I don't know. Maybe we can get some.
Send your resume.
I know this, that the next time TJ is approached by a reporter that starts asking silly questions, he's going to think twice about All right, the Packers have one more game prior to the bye, a Sunday nighter against the Dallas Cowboys. Two more Sunday nighters left, and I know that the fans kind of get jacked up for it, but you guys really aren't big fans of that nighttime stuff, are you?
Well, it's just, I mean, sitting around all day Sunday waiting for, 5 o'clock to roll around so you can drive to the stadium. I mean, it seems like time goes by so slow, and I mean, those noon games, you get up, you're ready to go, you get the game over with, and you got plenty of time at night to recover. And the night games are, I mean, they're awesome, don't get me wrong, but it's just the fact sitting around all day, you kind of get, you kind of start thinking too much about the game, and you kind of work yourself up a little bit, and it can be a little nerve-wracking.
How do you guys get through all that traffic?
They do a pretty good job with it.
You just flash your "I'm TJ Lang, let me through"?
I don't really have those credentials yet, but I'm sure some of the. I mean, they got guys out there directing traffic, and the guys recognize our cars. So when they see us pulling in, they'll stop, and we usually don't have to wait too long to pull in.
The Cowboys are 1-6 after losing yesterday. They're in kind of a world of hurt. I gotta imagine that. They come out with great intentions, but if you get out in front of them, a score or more than a score, that I would imagine they cave pretty easy. I mean, teams under that scenario, 1-6, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, they got a lot of heat on them right now, that's for sure. I mean, especially with their owner Jerry Jones, with the amount of money he spends on, their players and their facilities, he expects the entire expectations of them. And they're not coming through. I mean, there's a lot of guys on the hot seat out there. And I think we talked about them, I want to say the first show maybe, about how they have great talent, but they can never seem to, get around the hump. And I mean, they have a very good talent on their football team, but they're just lacking the consistency right now. And to be 1-7, I mean, that, 1-6, whatever they are, that kind of puts them in a hole. So they're going to be playing, like every game is really important to them, because 1-6 is not where they expected to be.
All right, news came out today that Randy Moss is going to be released by the Minnesota Vikings. And this is just a comedy of a collection of comical things, one right after another. I mean, they give up a third-round draft pick for this guy, and I don't believe there was any conditions to it, and 3 weeks later, they turn around and cut him.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked about it a little bit there in the break. Randy just, I mean, it never really seemed like he wanted to go back to Minnesota, and I think that was really clear yesterday at his press conference, saying, he didn't even talk about the game. He just talked about how much he misses New England and their players and their coaches. But I mean, Minnesota's one of our top rivals, so I'm not disappointed by the move at all.
I got news for the guy. New England doesn't miss him either. I mean, they're the one that sent him back, and there's a reason.
Right? Yeah. I mean, Randy's a guy where he'll flip a switch. There's definitely evidence where he's been playing some lazy football lately, and I think the Vikings are at a point where they don't want any of that on their football team, so they decided to cut him loose.
All right, every year, Tim, the National Football League is going to send 2 teams to London for a regular season game. Denver and San Francisco were received that honor yesterday, but it could be the Packers any one of these years. You think that's a bad move, or you think it's all right?
What, to play a game in London?
A game in London.
You know, I think it's fine because it's generating interest across the world in the game. I mean, it's just one game right now, so I don't know if, you know, where it's going to go from that, or if it stays the same there, or if it winds up, you know, going back to no games overseas. But for now, I see no reason why experimenting with it isn't all right to generate more interest in the game.
Yeah, it's a big trip across the pond, though. I mean, you know, it's a long ways to go for a football game. I can see now. I don't know. Do both of those teams have byes next?
I'm not sure how that works, and that's what, you know, I was talking to my wife about that. About, oh man, it'd be really cool to get to go play, you know, a game in London. But then I was like, man, you're flying 10 hours or whatever it is to go try. Yeah, I mean, so there's pros and cons to it for sure.
I think it would be a good experience. I've never been to London. I think that'd be pretty cool. But like Tim said, I mean, NFL's kind of been doing that lately. I know in the preseason they had a game up in Canada, you know, just generating interest around the world, and you know, NFL's a huge sport all around the world. So I think anytime we get to, you know, get some exposure anywhere else, I think that's good for the game.
All right, Tim, you've been a great guest and a good sport, and we appreciate having you, and continue great success to you. Thank you, Tim Masthay, the Huddle for the Green Bay Packers. Usually good luck against the Dallas Cowboys. We'll do it again back here next Monday.
All right, appreciate it.
TJ Lang and the Green Bay Packers, along with Tim Masthay, our producer Reggie Rizou, our engineer Mike Steele, Justin Hall, and Mark John here on location. Thanks for listening. I'm Bill Scott, and this has been In the Huddle on the Woodward Radio Network.